Hi, I'm Gary White with Channel 6, Central Kentucky Television. I'm at the Lebanon Springfield Airport, and I'm here with Lewis Patton for the annual Jets Over Kentucky that has been going on here for how many years now is this?
14 years.
14 years has been going on. Has it been at the airport the entire time?
It's been here the entire time.
And this is one of, if not the world's largest radio-controlled aircraft shows in the world, right?
Yes, we are the world's grandest jet event, and as you can see, that's total 100% truth.
Absolutely. And there's lots of people out here for this event. It goes on for how many days?
If you come on setup day, it can be 10 days, but officially 7 days.
7 days, okay. And now we're here on Friday, and this weekend you're going to have some major events, right?
Yes, tonight we're going to have the Parade of Lights, and that'll be followed with a ginormous fireworks display. Saturday morning, we're going to begin flying at 8 o'clock in the morning, and at noon, we're going to have a special air show for about 5 hours. It will conclude at 5 o'clock.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. And that will close out the jets?
That'll close out the jets. They'll be flying up until about 6 o'clock, and then we're going to have our awards dinner.
Fantastic. So tell us, if people come to this event, what can they expect to experience?
You can expect to experience a fantastic show. Great people. You're going to meet people from all over the world. And one of the best air shows in the country, full scale or model.
That's right. And a lot of noise and a lot of machines, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Our most expensive aircraft is $100,000, and the cheapest is about $10,000.
Wow. Now, how many actual pilots do you have here?
We're going to have about 160 to 170 pilots this year.
Amazing. That's fantastic. And are they from all over?
They're from all over, probably right now about 14 to 15 different countries.
Really?
Yes.
So where would you say is the farthest away that you have somebody coming in for this?
Probably China.
Really?
And the entire German aerobatic team is here, and they're going to do a special demonstration at noon after I play the national anthem Saturday.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us about the aircraft that they can see, because we're here at the airport and people think that, you know, it's planes that people fly around in, but these are actually exact scale models of larger planes.
Yes, they are exact scale models. If you've seen them in the air at a military air base, you're going to see it here this afternoon. In fact, the SR-71, which they have gone now, he had another family function they had to go to, but that's the aircraft that's worth $100,000. Wow. If you put cowpillars on the real one and a cowpillar on the model, it's accurate.
That's amazing. Now, how many of these models do you own?
I own 5, and 2 of mine are here, but I'm so busy, I've only had time to fly twice.
Now, how did you first get started in this?
When we moved near Fort Knox, they had an RC club there, and the day we went out to watch them fly, I've been hooked since.
That's fantastic. Now, I know you have, obviously you have the pilots, you have the aircraft, but you also have, if somebody's interested in getting started, they could come here and do that as well, right?
Yes, in fact, today and tomorrow, we're going to let all of our youth fly. The youth are going to fly at 2 o'clock today, and they'll probably fly about 4 o'clock Saturday.
Oh, wow. That's great. And again, it's here for Jets Over Kentucky. It's going on 14 years here at the Lebanon Springfield Airport. It's one of the grandest jet shows in the world. Yes. And it's right here in Central Kentucky, and you're the one that's been coordinating this all 14 years.
Yes, we started out with 28 people until what you see here now.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for talking with us.
My pleasure.
I'm speaking now with Boley, who's one of the pilots out here for the Jets Over Kentucky show. And in front of us, we have your radio-controlled jet, right?
Yes, it is a 1/6 scale BVM. It's Bob Violet models, F-16. Done in the United States Air Force Thunderbirds Air Show team paint scheme. It's powered by it's a Jet Central, a Cheetah SE with the name of the engine, but it's 160 newtons, which is how they rate. This is how they rate the thrust of the engines, which works out to be about 36 to 38 pounds of thrust of actually pull on the airplane. Airplane weighs 34 pounds, so in the air it has quite spectacular performance. I have a smoke system on board that puts smoke out the back just like the real aircraft, and it's a real jet engine. It runs on Jet A, same fuel that full-size jets fly, which I actually do for a living.
Okay, so is that how you got involved in this?
That's actually, it's the other way around. Well, model airplanes, when I was a small child, I was 12 years old when I lived in North Florida, went out, wanted to learn how to fly, and it was at the airport. And all the guys that flew at the airport were the people who worked there, and they took me up in a little Cessna 150. I fell in love with aviation, and now I'm a 737 captain for the largest airline in the world.
Fantastic. And you're from Florida, right?
Yes, I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida. I drive up every year. This is my 10th, I believe, my 10th year here. And this is the largest radio-controlled jet air show in the world. And it's absolutely just the most fun. The Kentucky hospitality, the weather, it's just the most fun event I've ever been to.
Now, had you ever been to this area or even to Kentucky before this show?
Yeah, I used to live in Nashville.
Okay.
And just with the airline industry, when you change bases or whatever, and we made the decision to move to Florida about 20 years ago. And so we left Nashville. And my wife's actually from Evansville, Indiana. And so we come up here all the time, actually. We have a motorhome, so we drive up from Florida and we go up to visit Grandpa. And it's a great time. We just love the Southern hospitality and look forward to this every year.
Now, have you ever actually flown this particular aircraft?
No. I was civilian trained. However, I was a full-scale airshow pilot when I was younger. And so at one point in my life, I was the youngest airshow pilot in the United States.
Oh, wow.
I was 18 years old, flying, had unlimited, no altitude restriction, unlimited maneuver aerobatic waiver, and I flew in air shows.
Wow.
So I'm able to, it's very neat because I'm able to I learned my full-scale flying, my roots were in high-performance aerobatics. And it's real nice to be able to, I can transition that to flying the models. And typically my jets, I pick air show schemes. So I can use the smoke system, and all my flights emulate like an air show style, because that's how I was trained to fly full-size aircraft.
So what's the trickiest thing that you ever did in the air show, or that you do with this one?
None of it's tricky, just because it sounds kind of strange, but it's what I do, and I'm fairly competent at it. It gets. I
hope so, since you're flying for the longest airline.
It's tricky when you start getting lower to the ground. Doing precision point rolls or stuff where you're hesitating in between each roll. When you start getting really low to the ground, which was kind of funny. I was talking to a fellow earlier. We were just discussing different flight patterns, and what he or I consider low, most people would never fly that low in their life.
Really?
But below like 10 feet or something, because they are going 170, 180, 190 miles an hour. Wow. And you really got to have it squared away, or it's not going to last very long.
Now, I noticed you get to choose who's going to pilot your craft as well. Yes. So tell us about your pilot.
All right. Actually, it's kind of a little comedy thing. Everybody always says, "How's Barbie?" But it's actually Rapunzel, because and the name on the side is my daughter's name, Marley. The aircraft is it's done in the 2008 Thunderbird Airshow scheme, the number 5 jet, and the pilot at that time was now Colonel Samantha Weeks, who has blonde hair and blue eyes. And I do fly this in scale competitions. There's one called Top Gun that I took 4th place in this year, and they actually go through all the scale details and checking like where the pilot, the names, the flags, like everything you could imagine. And the first page of my documentation is Colonel Weeks sitting in a cockpit with no helmet on and her blonde hair sitting there. But everybody teases me about it constantly. But it's
authentic.
Yeah, and my daughter, who just turned 8 years old, she's the official Jets Over Kentucky baby, because she was born in the middle of the show in 2010.
Really?
And when you're coming up for the show, they changed the names of all the streets to, like, this is Kentucky Boulevard and Air Show Drive. The very first hangar alley you come to is called Marley Place, which is Marley for my daughter. And there's a street sign they put up. So
that's funny, because I actually saw that today when I was walking over here. I was noticing, Marley, never knew that street has a name.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
Every street is aviation themed except the first one. And my daughter's actually been in probably about a dozen magazines around the world. Pictures of her holding the cockpit or posing with the airplane because of her name, and everybody knows her as Major Marley.
Fantastic. Now, is this the only one you own?
No. I also have that aircraft over there, which is a BVM Ultra Bandit, totally different style. It's what they call a sport jet, and flies a lot faster than this, much more precise. You can do 16-point rolls with it. The stability of it's very, very, very extreme, and a lot larger engine, a lot faster. And we're restricted to 200 miles an hour in the United States to fly these aircraft. But you could, like, if I went to Canada or South America, it'll easily go over 300.
Really? Have you done that?
No, I just keep it under. I just keep it under 200 here at the States.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for coming, and enjoy the show.
All right, I'm here now with Kwan, who is another one of the participants in Jets Over Kentucky here at the Lebanon Springfield Airport, and we're standing by your aircraft, and you're actually with Team BVM Jets, right?
Yeah. They're the manufacturer of this particular F-16.
Okay.
They come in what they call plug and play. So when you order them with your scheme that you like, typically all you need is add your turbine and your receiver of your choice.
Okay.
And they're ready to fly. Yep.
So tell us about your aircraft. Why'd you pick this one, and what is it?
It's the like a nice size. It's big enough to be really impressive. Plus, it's small enough to be easy to transport. I know you see a lot of jets out here that's pretty big, but this is about the comfortable size that fit in my trailer. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. And tell us what kind of aircraft is it?
It's an F-16. I guess scaled after the Fighting Falcon. So yeah, it's been a great airplane. I probably had it for a couple years and over 200 flights. The BVM definitely done an amazing job sorting through all it's a great flying airplane.
Have you been here for the Jets Over Kentucky before?
Yes, I think this is my either 6th or 7th year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm from Northern Virginia, and it takes me about 10 hours to get here. So.
Okay, so you have to drive, I guess, because you can't put this on another aircraft, could you?
Right. Yeah. But it's,
or maybe you could just fly it here. That'd be something interesting.
Nice. That would be awesome. Yep.
Now, speaking of that, when you are flying this craft, do you have to? Is it all line of vision, or can you monitor where it is without seeing it?
Yeah, so it is all line of sight. Everything we do here, I know especially where I am from, Northern Virginia, we're so close to D.C. and White House. A drone is becoming a somewhat issue, but we're trying to educate the government that what we do here is very different than flying a drone. We can't just hit a button and fly back home. So yeah, if we lose a sight, obviously we're not going to get the model back. So we're going to be extra careful when we're flying it.
Because this is an expensive craft that you have going on there. You don't want to lose sight of it.
It is, yeah. If you do everything new, I mean, you're probably going to have like a $10,000 invested. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, do you have to have it licensed as well?
Yes, we have what we call a safety waiver, and obviously the local club contest director will sign you off when you are proficient at landing and taking off and be able to handle it safely.
Okay, very good. And you said you're from Virginia?
Yes, right? Northern Virginia. Okay. Yep.
Yes. Have you been here to Central Kentucky before you came here for this event?
Yes. I mean, I do up and down East Coast, but this is one of my favorite events. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Yep.
Now, speaking of, it is remote controlled, right? And so that's what you have in your hand, right?
Yep.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about this device and how it works for us.
Okay. So typically you got two joysticks, and this controls your throttle up and down. This controls your rudder, and that's your aileron, and that makes it elevator. And all the other switches you see here, it'll operate other accessory stuff, like it could be flaps. It does a retracts. If you got lights, it'll work lights. It also has brakes on them, so it'll apply the brakes.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So you control everything standing right here.
Yep.
And is this for you to be able to see? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the screen basically would tell you what you have programmed.
Okay.
While you're programming, and also one of the newest feature on the radios it's got a telemetry, so it's got a real live data from your radio to your airplane. So for example, like battery status, because we carry multiple batteries for redundancy, just in case one battery fails. So it monitors all that, and we could actually put a little warning on there, so when it hits certain voltage, that it'll say, hey, your battery's getting low, you better come in and land.
Yep. Well, very good. Well, thank you very much. Have you ever actually seen this particular aircraft in real life as well?
Maybe not this particular air scheme, but yeah, I'm always browsing YouTube trying to learn the scale maneuvers and stuff. Yeah.
Now, I was talking with another gentleman about the pilot in their craft. Now, tell us about your pilot. How did you come up with this one?
I think it was, I seen a similar color scheme with that particular pilot in there.
Okay.
So there's some pilots that's got like servos on the head. That way, you know, when you're staring on the ground, you could actually see the pilot head moves. I didn't quite do that one on this one yet, but maybe next time.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.